Welcome to Henseid. It's a small part of Drangedal, which is next to Kragerø. It's about 30-45 minutes drive from where I live in Kragerø. Just have the old main road down there. And as mentioned, this place is called Henseid, and today I'm walking Henseid mountain round. Let's see how that goes. In Norway, unfortunately, there is barely half a percentage of all the woods that can be called a nation forest, like a real forest. Everything else is planted or cultivated somehow, made to be the way it is. The nature haven't been allowed to grow on its own, to heal itself and everything that that the woods do, which is quite sad. But there are some tiny patches here and there, and when you see them, either if it's on TV or in real life, you can clearly see that it's untouched woods, and it's beautiful. It's not aesthetically beautiful, but it's it's so natural. These forests you see here have so many different kinds of species of trees, and if you look at them, some are aligned quite suspiciously, so definitely cultivated and planted. According to the guest book, which you can find in the amazing app I use, this route is quite frequently used, but there haven't been any notes in the guest book in a week or two at least. But quite a few is not using that app and therefore cannot write in the guest book. So I reckon this is quite a frequently used route. I mean, it's quite well kept. Whew. That last hill was heavy. I'm barely 1 kilometer in, and there's so many blueberries here. It's almost like those who hike here just looking right past them. Look at all these. Of course, I had a taste, and they're sweet, delicious. One thing I discovered on this route, there is two checkpoints. And the first one is here. Probably the most important thing of the hike is to check out. Hey! Henseid fire pit or camping area, or what in guest book. Take a picture. Oh, what a photographer I am. Like that, beautiful. Then we write a little something. Fantastic view. I think that's it. Some emojis. Like that. And it's published. I'm definitely going to take my family here. I mean, with a beautiful fire pit and the view and the short distance. It's about 1 kilometer in, and it's that beautiful. The only negative thing for me is the drive, but it's only 45 minutes at the worst, so I'm now entering a national reserve, and this national reserve, I mean all national reserves are there to reserve the nature and creatures living there, and this particular reserve is here to protect the old woods, the old trees, because there is some all types of forest here that you can't find any other places, and of course we want to preserve that as good as possible. If it was so that this was a nature reserve because of animals and especially birds, drone flight would be forbidden. And that is very important, guys. If you're out flying a drone, check your map. If you're in a nature reserve, you might disturb some animals that should not be disturbed. We gotta protect the nature and do as the government say about that. So I always check if I'm going to unknown lands that I'm able to use my drone. If not, I will not bring it. Spiderwebs. Yeah, and as I mentioned, if it's a nature reserve, check why it is such reserve and what it is protecting. Like this is protecting some old woods, old different kind of trees, and no special animal habitats it's protecting. So there ain't no special birds here or anything, luckily for me. Can imagine this for maybe 50 years ago. There was probably a small pond here or a lake, and now it's just marshlands or swamp or whatever you want to call it. The sun. Something that's really important, guys, wherever you are and whatever you do, is to be hydrated. I'm very, very bad at that. I drink coffee, and that's, well, it doesn't have to keep the water, to say it kindly. And water, that's the thing, guys. Water. And honestly, when you're thirsty, nothing better. Now I'm going to enjoy this. And of course, when I have to do the second checkout, brought in a guest book, take a new picture. The view is amazing. Let's see, what to write. Just unbelievable view. And it's done. So I'm sitting here enjoying the view and my cup of coffee, and then I see this little one. It's a tick. Parasites. I've had my coffee. I had something to eat, some leftovers from yesterday's dinner, and I better head on. I mean, I got 4 more kilometers to cover before I'm back at the car. This is one of those round paths that you can walk around in a circle, and it's that's one of those I enjoy the most, because it means new scenery for every step, which is way more exciting. Look at this. Definitely been some woodpeckers here. There's an old hole there too. In the media, there is often this discussion of if you're introvert or extrovert or whatever. Does it matter if you're introverted or extroverted for someone else than yourself? And as I was thinking about that, it obviously matters, because if you're an extrovert, you gain energy from being around people, being social. And if you're an introvert, your energy is drained from being social and around people. But you can be someplace in the middle, where you need that social interaction to be able to have that energy, to be able to be alone. So it is, in fact, quite important. But it ain't that big of a deal as many makes it. And it's okay if you're extroverted. It's okay if you're introverted. It's okay if you are you. And that's really important. Find out where you are the most comfortable and stick with that. And if you're not comfortable, let someone know. Because people will most likely support you if you're honest. And if they don't support you when you're honest, yeah, make what you want of that. Looking at this field of trees, you can see that there is clearly some dead ones, some new ones, and some older trees. And as I mentioned in the start of this video, this ain't no natural forest. It's old. It's most definitely old. But it's not ancient forest, not real forest. It's been chopped down, planted, or just chopped down and let it to itself. It's nothing natural about that. And once you know that, it's quite easy to see what they mean, unfortunately. Although this forest has probably been left alone for many years. We've been around here for quite some time too. There is so many blueberries. If I'd known that, I wouldn't do hiking today. I would pick blueberries. It's so blue. And if I come home with blue lips, it's not because I've been cold. It's because of all of those delicious blueberries. I think we're now getting into one of those preserved forests. If I'm not mistaken, these are aspen trees, and that they are so many, they actually form a small part of the forest, is quite rare, at least here, and that's why it's preserved. You can see these trees aren't too big, and they're probably quite frail. But if we leave them alone and make sure no one comes and destroys it, it may maybe thrive if we're lucky. Because walking in a forest that's made out of trees with leaves and not needles, it is quite different. Because a pine forest or a spruce forest is, at least for me, it's quite normal. But having a forest with only leaves on the trees, it makes up a different kind of environment. So much more lights coming down. It's understandable where all the fairy tales about fairies and trolls comes from when you're standing in a place like this. As I'm getting further down into this aspen forest, I see the trees are getting bigger, probably because it's more soil down here than further up. The trees here now are way bigger than my thighs, so it's quite obvious it's a healthy forest, at least in my eyes. I'm no biologist, but I've seen some trees before. One or two trees before. I remember just a few months ago how insecure I was talking on the camera. I started with having some voiceovers and such, and I got some positive feedbacks. I asked a couple of you, my dear subscribers, about how you managed to do this over and over again, like talking to potentially everyone in the world, and it just becomes easier each time, I guess. The hard thing is to being yourself, not sharing too much of what you think in the moment, and also provide something that's entertaining or maybe educational. Yeah, I think that's the hardest part for me, also to be able to pronounce every English word correctly or semi-correctly, or understandable at least. But I feel quite confident now, thanks to you guys. Still having trouble looking straight into the camera, but I guess that comes with time. Up it goes. Now I'm headed out of that reserve, but I think I'm just walking on the edge of it. And also some of the rules or laws, I should say, of the nature reserve is you should not build anything here. Nothing man-made should be in here. You can't camp. You can't have like a camp here. Of course you can sleep over in a tent or a hammock for 1 or 2 nights, but you can't build a camp here or having a jamboree of some sort. But man-made structures ain't allowed. And then you probably say, what about that campfire spot? Well, one, it's outside of the reserve. But if it was inside the reserve, I think if it's organized, they can make that so that no one builds many around, so that you have this one place to have a campfire and enjoy the nature. I think that's allowed. I'm no lawyer, I don't know these laws, but it's important to read them when you're heading out to unfamiliar lands, especially if you're in a country you're not familiar with, because each country have different rules. I'm walking down this mountainside, and all of a sudden I come to this clearing, and look at that cute little pond. It was probably once quite large, looking by the parameter here. It was probably quite large once. I've been looking into what kind of plants are edible in the Norwegian forest, and of course you got the obvious one like blueberries, lingonberries, and I can't remember all the English names, but as I showed you on my hiking video, the camping one, where the little clove leaves, the acid one, and I think this too is one of those edible plants. But I don't know. There's so many of them here. Like, they're covering much of the soil here. They look quite similar to the one I saw online. I think I need a book, guys. I need a book on edible plants in the Norwegian nature. I need a book. Now these are some serious blueberry fields. And you can also see these plants will provide some dark, really pitch black berries, which when ripe are quite sweet. But most people just walk past them because they don't know. But you can easily make jam, jello, or some liquor out of them. They're quite small, almost on the size of these blueberries here. So you need quite a lot of them to actually make something. But when they're ripe, I find them quite delicious, tasty. Same with lingonberries, which are quite sour. But lingonberries are bright red. So in the distance here I saw a small cabin. I don't know if someone is there or if it's been in use for ages, but if it's empty, I'm going to take a look, at least see if you can see something. It looks like a really old farmhouse out here in the woods. It's probably not used at all. If it is, I don't know how well it's kept. It looks rather empty. They have some coverage over here. There has been some campfires here. That chimney is new. I don't dare go in there, but it looks like someone at least have tried to restore it. It even had this really old outhouse. I do not dare go in because it looks quite frail. Look at that nail. It's quite an old one. Handmade, same as this. But this place has been someone's home. That's for sure. Someone used to live here back in the day. And then it probably became some kind of family cabin, family cottage, summer house, winter house, whatever. And with the years, changing of owners and generations, it just fades away. It's quite sad. Could have been a lovely place. Could have been a lovely place indeed. I had to take a look at the map because I was starting to wonder where the heck I was. Turns out this tractor road is leading to the gravel road I started on. At least the map says so, and I guess it's only gravel road from there. By looking at this road, it will be great for bike ride once. I mean, taking the bike up to that cabin over there, hiding the bike into the woods, bringing the hammock and some food, and having a great time in the woods here. So now I'm coming to more cabins, but that one over there is clearly of a newer age, and I think I can see a vehicle down here too, so it's probably people there, which is nice. Maybe actually they own the cabin further up too. And here we are on what I call the gravel road. Dirt road more. And that's the vehicle I saw. Just a trailer. Nice little cabin. Cabin in the woods. And suddenly I'm at the crossroads, heading straight back down to the car. I hope you guys enjoyed this round trip in the Henseid Nature Reserve. I most definitely did, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please press that subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you like this video in particular, I would appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up button. See you next time.